Welcome back, PC World fans, for another weekly roundup of some of the biggest and most important news for the PC world. Now, we've got a new graphics card launching for enthusiast 1080p gamers, reports of gaming PCs getting banned in several states, but why you shouldn't worry just yet. Chipmaker Intel has renamed their manufacturing process to hopefully make things a little easier to follow, and Microsoft has finally rolled out that update for Flight Simulator that gives a massive performance boost. Now that's lots to cover, so let's get into it. 1080p gaming is still the sweet spot for the market when it comes to PC gaming, and AMD has targeted that resolution with the Radeon RX 6600 XT and designed to be what AMD is calling an epic 1080p experience. Now, they've packed this 6600 XT with 32 compute units, making up 2048 string processors with a base clock of 1968 MHz while boosting all the way up to 2589 MHz. However, expect a game clock of around 2349 MHz area. Along with 32 compute units, we're also getting a matching 32 ray accelerators for hardware-based ray tracing capabilities. Memory comes in at an 8GB capacity and 16 gigabits per second with a 128-bit bus interface. That results in a 256 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth, but that should be aided in performance thanks to the 32 megabytes of AMD's Infinity Cache. Now, in their marketing material, AMD is showing the RX 6600 XT performing well against the GeForce RTX 3060. But with a price point of $379, that puts it awfully close to being in direct competition with the RTX 3060 Ti rather. Now, we'll have to wait for reviews to go live before we see how this launch shakes out. But will you even be able to order a PC with the 6600 XT inside and have it delivered in your state? Well, headlines riddled with statements like this regarding gaming PCs being banned in numerous states have flooded the internet in the past week. You've likely seen them, I know I have, but there's more to it than just the idea that gaming PCs are banned. In fact, that's not even what's going on at all. What's essentially happening is the latest measures of the CEC, or the California Energy Commission's Appliance Efficiency Regulations Title 20, is taking full effect. Now, that's why you see California listed at the top of the list of states, but Colorado, Hawaii, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington State are also joining in with the regulations. But let me be clear, this has nothing to do with the overall system power draw, as even computers using a Core i5 with a GTX 1650 are included in the block. Now, it has everything to do with idle and sleep power consumption levels, not full-blown power draw. It only affects full system sales from OEMs like Alienware and HP, for example, and doesn't affect the DIY market. So you can still buy, provided you can find one, any graphics card you want and have them shipped to your state, even if your state is included in that list. But I'd urge you to watch Gamers Nexus' full breakdown of what's going on for more clarity, and you'll find their video linked in the description below. But on to something more confusing in an effort to make things less confusing. Rebrands, renames, they happen, and sometimes it's to ship an old product as new, and other times it's done to make things more clear to the consumer. Now, Intel is mostly doing the latter here with renaming their process technologies. For this video, I just want to run through a list of the changes, but for a more nuanced look, please check out our episode of The Full Nerd featuring Dr. Ian Cutress of Tech Potato, where it's broken down in a very intriguing and digestible manner. Now, the changes start with 10nm SuperFin, which, well, it stays like that and is currently in high volume production. Now, what was previously known as Enhanced SuperFin will now be known as Intel 7, and what was once known as 7nm will now be Intel 4. Now, as things move on, we'll have Intel 3 and then Intel 20A that will be with the new Angstrom era, but that will be a few years down the road. Again, for more clarity on what all of this means, pour a cup of coffee or pop a bag of popcorn and settle in for that episode of The Full Nerd. Or you could just listen while you go on a flight, since Microsoft has finally patched up Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now, the past week saw the release of the Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series X and S consoles, but being news with the PC gamers is that it coincides with the performance boosting update, and boy does it deliver. Mark Hawkman covered this more in detail over at PCWorld.com, and in the article is in the description for those who want to dig in a bit deeper. But no, this isn't going to turn any computer into a supercomputer, but even for me, I felt the sim running much smoother. Now the thing with simulators like this is that they don't really require the game to be running at high frame rates to be enjoyable, but they do need to run smoothly and consistency, and that's the biggest feel factor in this update for me. While I don't have hard numbers to put to comparing both versions, you can bet the team over at Digital Foundry will have this one covered quickly. And with that, we bring this week's chart-topping news to a close. AMD is set to turn things to 11 for enthusiast 1080p gamers with the launch of the Radeon RX 6600 XT, and we'll be sitting tight to see how the reviews pan out for that one. Now you can rest easy knowing your gaming PC lifestyle is yet to be killed off by bad headlines claiming bans across the country, and Intel is trying to make things a bit more clear with their Process technology by renaming them to a more simple strategy, and Microsoft delivers a much better performing experience for those flying the friendly skies of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now if you enjoyed this roundup, hit that thumbs up button and make sure that you're subscribed here at PC World for even more PC hardware and software goodness in the future.